Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for the Leaders Connect episode LC0147, Author of the Month. Leaders Connect 360 is a CSR initiative by BIJA Training and organized by Mask Leadership. My name is Divya. I'm a corporate trainer. Leaders Connect 360 is started with a specific objective of inviting 1,000 plus leaders and creating 1 million leaders. It is an online hub where every Wednesday between 6:30 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. we learn from top management leaders on Zoom Live. And once in quarter in each city, we have an offline network meeting to network, support, and grow with the leaders. That's what we call it as leaders create more leaders. Currently, all are muted, and we will be giving you an opportunity to speak to our author of the month, Mr. Ashraf Ali, international corporate trainer, author of Goal, and our panel discussion leader, Ms. Alagu Lakshmanan, NLP Life Coach, founder of ALisWELL. Before we all unmuted, let me share that we all currently on live in LinkedIn, and this episode LC0147 is being recorded. First-time viewers, please click on the WhatsApp link, FB, and LinkedIn link on the chat box to get updated by joining us in the Creating More Leaders concept. All in-house are requested to turn on your videos, which will help in making our episode highly interactive. So are we all ready to interact with our author of the month, Mr. Ashraf Ali? Please enter a thumbs up or a smiley in our chat box, welcoming our author of the month and our panel discussion leader in the chat box. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate the welcoming messages. Great. So today I'm going to be a moderator of the panel discussion as well. So I'm pleasurably honored to moderate this episode, being Ashraf Ali known for many years, and Alagu, which is my favorite member of the league. That is an awesome episode it's going to be. So meanwhile, let's have a small introductory video for our guest as well as for our panel discussion leader. Arul, can you please do the play the introductory video for both of us? Thank you very much, Arun, for the wonderful video. Without any further ado, I'm going to give the mic to Alagu Lakshmanan. It'll be really nice to see both of you having a wonderful panel discussion. It's an honor, Ashraf Ali sir, to have you in this episode today with us. I am waiting to get an enlightenment from both of you to know more about the episode today. So I leave it to you and give the mic to you, madam.
Thank you, Divya. Welcome, Mr. Ashraf Ali.
Thank you.
Thanks for accepting to be the author of the week for this episode.
Yeah.
So we have a very restricted time, so let's start away with the questions.
Yes.
So when talking about games and game-oriented learning, what are the various skills we can develop by playing different games? We all are used to playing games and learn a lot of things, even numbers, all that. But in a corporate sector, in a training sector, what are the various skills?
Yeah. So good evening, leaders. So I'm happy for the opportunity to discuss about my book and how games can be wonderful learning tools. So first start off with what are the skills games can develop. So as all of us, we have played a lot of games as children and we have developed a lot of life skills, leadership skills through this. So if you have to map it, this list is endless, starting with observation skills, which is very, very important in today's context for any job and in any role. So the observation is very, very important. So games help us to observe the environment, the surroundings, and be very sensitive to all the information available to us, helps us to focus, concentrate. So today is the age of distraction with so many distractions available. I remember playing a game of cricket in a government ground, public ground, where 20 teams are playing simultaneously. But I was able to focus and respond to my teams. So I'm not distracted by so many things around me. So, again, I said observation, focus, listening, planning, and strategy. Every game is not just about just physical action. It's all about strategy, the mental strategies. A lot of planning involved, decision making. So now, if you look at any kind of a job in the corporate environment, so this planning and strategy is one of the important roles. So planning strategy is involved in a game. And then decision-making, of course, is there. And one important value, I would say, which games provide, which no classroom doesn't provide that. It's learning from failures, how to handle and cope failures. This is only the playground. You can learn this skill from the playground when you play games. So any champion in any sport, we know they have learned from their mistakes. So every time we lose, of course, we feel bad about it. We feel disappointed, but we analyze our game. So either we have lost by not playing it up to our potential. So we realize what is the mistakes we have done, or the opponent has played a better game. Either way, we learn from our own mistakes or from the better strategies of an opponent. So handling failures is very, very important. And yes, in today's context, very, very important, whether it is for a college student or for a corporate employee, how to handle failures. And then, of course, leadership comes there, teamwork, interpersonal skills, discipline, following rules, one big thing, because in games, you don't play according to as per your wish. It's basically have to follow the rules. Discipline is required. And then so all these skills are required. We name it, all these skills are there in the game. So these life and leadership skills are very important, and we play it through the practically hands-on learning. It's not about any theoretical input. It's about practically learning and adapting to the environment. So I would say games provide the active environment for learning all these life skills.
So how can games facilitate insightful and effective learning?
So I've been in this learning and development space for the last 22 years now. So initially, the first 1 year, 1.5 years, I was trying the traditional model of classroom training, where chalk and talk, basically, So we used to talk and, use the board to describe certain things. But there were certain limitations, So then we didn't have the PowerPoint. We had the OHP project at that time. So then came the PowerPoint, which helped us in visualizing certain things. We can, visual triggers we can use. But whenever we are talking, we are using only one sense. And whenever you're using a video or a PowerPoint, we are using another set. That is visual sense. But when we play a game, what happens is all the senses are engaged. We not only see, hear, we practically involve the kinesthetic, the body is involved.
Mhm.
So games provide a very powerful platform for learning. So as my book, if you say game-oriented active learning. So game-oriented means applying the game principles for learning.
Mm.
So what are the principles involved? So if you look at a game, there's a lot of voluntary participation. People love because it's fun. So anybody wants to play a new game. So a lot of excitement to discover about the game.
Mm.
So the child in you is engaged. So for the learning, very important that curiosity, the inner child has to be engaged. So the games provide that platform for our curiosity to engage. And that way games provide wonderful tools, because normally the perception is games are recreational tools. Apart from the few people who play sports for professional reasons, the majority of us, we play a game for recreation. Whereas what I have discovered in the last 20 years is games are wonderful tools for learning. They can be, if they're properly designed and properly utilized in particular context, we can learn a lot through a game. We can create a lot of engagement and learning through the game.
Mm. Awesome. Very
Wonderfully put, sir. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I'm just adding on a point here.
Yeah.
I myself been a trainer for like almost a decade now.
Yeah.
And the first and a constant question I get from my audience is like, what are the activities you planned for us? So
Okay.
more than anything, right, they are very curious and attentive towards the activities-based learning. Like you mentioned, yeah, in classroom, there are a lot many things which we are very constrained to. We don't get to explore a lot. We don't get to, allow them to do what they want to do. But when it comes to an open forum and everything, like you mentioned, focus and discipline is given. That's the rule you already give. But then open mind thinking and being a free bird in the open air is one big freedom you give us as audience, as a trainees, I believe. So I could totally relate to what you're saying when it comes to classroom training and everything, which I am almost going every day, going through every day. Thank you very much for sharing that, Ashraf, sir.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Miss Alagu.
Yeah, sure. So, as you said, curiosity, the space for learning. Once when you're curious, you're eager to learn more things.
Correct.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And fun.
Yeah.
Fun is the way of learning. Nowadays they talk about Montessori and children learning and stuff like that. The basic rule they provide is how a kid can learn through activities. I think as adults we don't know because we are taught only in the classroom. Now, Ashraf Ali kind of a person can help us to understand how games can help us to improve our cognitive skills, which is really great. Yes, you're
See,
right, Alagu ma'am.
One thing I remember my parents telling me in my childhood was this, play while you play, learn while you learn.
Yeah.
So,
Correct.
that was, so what they meant by learning is academic studies. So they
Right.
thought play is just a recreational activity. But modern research tells you that play is the best way of learning.
Correct.
So neuroscience tells us that our brain loves to explore, and through a game, we'll explore the environment, we'll explore the opportunity, the challenge, the strategies.
Definitely.
We also explore our talent and potential through a game. So that, as I said, games are very powerful. The lot of research supports. Now we talk about gamification, the recent trend, to gamify everything. So with the points and using the game elements. So now the last 5-8 years, gamification has come. But I could understand that 20 years back when I started using games, basically I started with outbound training with a lot of games. Then I adapted a lot of these games for indoor learning. So initially there was a lot of criticism saying that, okay, we are diluting the learning because, learning is serious. That's how they thought. Learning has to be serious. Whereas playing a game is diluting the learning. Whereas learning is, we have a lot of myths and misconception about learning. Learning is a conscious process. It's not about just remembering facts and figures. It's about adapting and, actively, experimenting and learning how to, how to move towards a desired outcome. That's learning.
It's as fun as going to the laboratory of physics and chemistry class. I have no idea how the chemistry works, but touching at the test tube and other things is fun. It's fun. It's fun looking at the, water boils and coming out is fun. I am learning, but what is the main aspect of creating that learning is fun. I think that is what is nailing us now in creating game-oriented activities and learning. I think that's how we are working out.
And
for
again, as I said, games provide active learning. So earlier learning was very passive. We just listen to the expert or a teacher and take in information passively. But
Passively.
keep actively experimenting, learning, and exploring. So learning is very active here, and that stays with us.
Yeah.
true.
So that
true.
was my next question. So, like, what is the difference between gamification and game-based learning?
Yeah. So a lot of times people use it synonymously, gamification and game-based learning.
Yeah.
So I'll just tell you the difference here. So game-based learning is when you're actually using a game for learning. So in our programs, indoor or outdoor, we actually use a game, a management training game for learning. So when you use a game and then debrief, discuss about the game, what is the learning, that's a game-based learning, which has been there for many years now.
Yeah.
Now, gamification is a recent development the last 8-10 years now, which has found a lot of takers here. So gamification is using game elements in a non-game situation. For example, what is a non-game situation? Education, marketing, production, all these are non-game situations. These are process. Marketing is a process. Production is a process. Education is a process. So when you bring in game elements and apply them in a non-game situation, so that's a gamification. You are gamifying. So whenever you're using leaderboards, point system, rewards, competition, all these are game elements. So if you find game elements in every aspect of our life. Whenever you're using point system, rating, rewards, leaderboards, healthy competition, okay, and all these things. These are game elements used in non-game situation.
Okay. So what do you mean to say is implementing games into the process?
Game principles, not actually game principles. So what is we discussed about what are the game elements here. So again, one important element is fun. So games provide fun and engagement. So when you use a game element, it provides engagement.
So if I can understand it in my own layman language, there is one project which my daughter is involved into right now in engineering college, where they are trying to ask them to guess the element, right? So in whatever language they are reading or studying, they are wanting them to guess it and then identify what is that they're trying to say. So is that what you call as gamification?
Yeah, partly because you're trying to use the curiosity element here.
Right.
To fill in the blanks. Say, for example, whenever there are point system, rewards, for example, if you see in a KFC, say chef of the month or star of the month, star performer of the month. So whenever you're using competition is another element of the game. So whenever you're using healthy competition, so ratings, we have this 4.5 star, 5 star. So we have these ratings. That's also a game element, So so you have this rating, and then there's provided that there's a lot of, say, gold club, silver club, you have this, so you have reached this level,
the points are allocated, and then
yeah.
you've been asked to use the points and later point in time. Is that what we are talking about?
Whenever using points, rewards, all that.
Right.
For example, if you see in a game, cricket, we have the man of the match award. We have in football, we have that special award. So like every month there is a healthy competition, and for every thing there's some points allocated. And let's say for attendance, for example, everybody who's coming on time. So there are certain points allocated, and for certain activities there are points allocated. And in the end, whoever is leading, they say these are the star performer of the month, and they get some reward. So that's a game element. So you're using a competition and also a reward. Two elements there.
Okay. Any other examples, sir, apart from giving awards and points? Any other fun element gamification that you have come across?
Say right now also we have a lot of apps, where they monitor how many steps you have walked, right? So for example, people say you have to go for walking. So people just go walk for 1 mile, 2 mile, 3 miles, and then that's there. But you have this measurement of steps. So 10,000 club, you have reached that, So there is this sticker coming in. So a lot of recognition. Okay, you are part of this 10,000 mile club, so you can interact now. So whenever there is a reward, appreciation, recognition for something that is there, that is a game element. And also some healthy competition. You have some benchmarks. Okay, so it's not just so you have earned it. You have earned it. It's not just given to you free. So you have done something, some effort you have put in, and you got it.
Kind of an achievement, and you're motivated.
In Google Pay, what happens is when you make the payment constantly, and then they give you a certain amount of points which you can use for your own apps in purchase, in game purchases. Maybe I think that would make a lot of sense.
The more you use it, and also when you refer somebody,
yes,
that's you are helping them.
Occasionally.
When the more you use the app and the more you refer to people, there are
Definitely.
points allocated. So yeah, that's a
Right.
marketing, for the
Lovely.
market to use that.
Okay, that's very insightful.
Yes.
So what are the four core design elements of a game, sir?
Yeah. So now, when you're designing any game for that matter for learning, we need to understand what are the game element, the core element. I said the first element is about fun. So when there's fun, you can engage. There's a lot of voluntary participation from. See what happens is say we don't have to push people for that. So you have to get the voluntary participation. People like say yes, I would like to join. So who likes to play an interesting game? Yes, I like to join. So because the child in you wants to explore something new. So that because they expect it is going to be fun playing that. So it invites voluntary participation. When the game is well designed and it has a lot of fun element, it invites voluntary participation. That's the first step. The second element is the rules. How you design an element, how you design a game. That's very important. So a game is nothing but a series of rules. Rules are nothing but like building blocks of a game. For example, when you see a wall, it's one block of wall, but it's individually bricks that make up the wall. Same thing, it's about the rules. How interesting are the rules? And we can play with the rules. We can, by modifying the rules, we can have different variations. For example, cricket, when it was played 30, 40 years back, it was a test match, 5-day test match. So then even playing for 5 days, there was no result. So then they changed the rules. They say 1 day format. So we'll bring it 1 day, only one innings, 50 overs, whether you're all out or not, we'll stop them. Only one team gets 50 overs to play. So then the game became more exciting because unlike test match, you don't have to preserve your wicket. Only 50 overs. So you score the maximum. So after a point of time, even 1 day became very long and not interesting. So they came out with the 2020 format. So essentially the game remains the same, but the rules of format, change. Then they come up with the free hit, in the cricket. So like that in every game there are some new rules. Because of that, the game becomes more exciting. The old version is there, but bring in new rules. So by rules, we can have different variations. For example, when I play a game in the outdoors, I have a lot of space, but I have to bring the same game indoor as a space constraint. So by changing the rules, I can modify the game and I'm suitable for indoor learning. So let's say the age group of the people are more. So then physically, they may not, we can't have a physically challenging game. So taxing games. So I need to look at that. So by changing the rules of the game, we can modify the same game into a new variation. So the first, I said, it's a fun element, which invites voluntary participation. The second element is the rules, basically understanding the rules. And through rules, you can modify the game as you want it. Now, most important, the third element. So I like any of the participants to guess. This is one of the core element. If this element is missing, the game is not effective. So anybody in the audience, participants can share in the chat box. Hi, Ram.
Feedback.
Feedback is there. That's the fourth element.
Curiosity. Curiosity.
Oh, curiosity is part of the fun concept.
Soumya in the chat box says prize, award. Sukumaran says score, and Giri says active participation.
Okay.
Outcome or
outcome. Collaboration, debriefing.
Okay, it starts with the letter C.
Competition.
To be more precise, competition is part of that element.
Okay.
Competition is a sub factor.
Okay.
Passion. Okay. Community
building.
Okay, it's very simple. Let's see anybody has said that. So yeah. So it is the challenge element.
Okay.
The challenge. So the game has to be challenging. Nobody wants to play an easy game. Nobody wants to play easy game. Even as a spectator, you want to watch a game. You want a close match. We want the match to go to the last ball or the last minute, and between two teams which are equally competing. We don't want to see a one-sided match or a match which is, So even let's say I'm playing a game. If I am able to win very easily, I have a weak opponent, then I don't get much satisfaction.
Right.
But I have a tough opponent, then my skills are stretched. then I really find challenge. So challenge is an important element. Only another interesting thing is only in games people love challenges, and in real life we have a different word for that.
Correct.
What is that word? So people use that word.
Problem.
Yeah, correct. Right. So problem. People, so only in a game people love challenges. Somebody said it beautifully. In a game, we voluntarily try to solve unnecessary problems. So, for example, Sudoku and all these things, right? People love playing Sudoku. So there is just the moral satisfaction. Okay, there's no reward. But why people spend so much time, for solving that puzzles? Because they get moral satisfaction. Actually, it's a problem. It's a problem solving. So challenge is basically it's a neutral word. For example, if you say problem, it's a negative. Challenge is a neutral word, and if you use the challenge properly, it becomes an opportunity. The same situation, if you viewed it negatively, it's a problem. If you positively, it is an opportunity. The challenge is the right way to approach, because through my skills, I can convert that challenge into an opportunity.
Right.
So challenge is one important element. The challenge can come in two forms. One is the opponent. So when you play a game, a multiplayer game or so the challenge comes from an opponent. So your skills and the opponent's skills. So that there's a clash of that, and you see how we can win. So that is one challenge comes through competition. Sometimes you're playing puzzle games where the challenge does not come from another person. It's a situation. You're trying to solve a situation. The situation acts as a challenge. The puzzle is basically a situation acting as a challenge, and then use your intelligence to decode and solve that. So challenge is a very important element of the game. So once again, the fun element, which invites voluntary participation. The second, the rules, understanding the rules, and by modifying rules, we can create interesting games. Third is a challenge element. Challenge can come in the form of a competition or a situation. So, and the challenge invites our skills, engages our skills, and we find great satisfaction when we're able to use our skills and get the desired outcome. And the fourth element, as Ramki said, it's about the feedback mechanisms. So in a game, the feedback mechanism is very, very clear. At any given point of time, you know where you stand. There's no ambiguity there, and you know how much you perform and how much you have to do. And if you lose the game also, it was clear. So there is no unfairness. So in a game, it is very clear. So you understand the rules, you understand the results. You accept the result because the feedback mechanism is very clear. Constant and accurate feedback the game gives, and because of that, no ambiguity, and people are able to take the results. Don't blame. So normally in real life, sometimes somebody gives feedback, there's a lot of prejudice, a lot of bias is there. People might, it's not impersonal, it is personal feedback. So here in a game, it's impersonal. The same, somebody's out, it's out. It doesn't matter if it's a great batsman or the last batsman.
It's sometimes very evident as well, and everybody was able to accept what has been happening around.
True.
I think that is what makes us all accept.
True. If it's a foul, even a great player makes a foul, it's a foul. So everybody knows it because the feedback mechanism is very clear. So there are four elements makes games as a powerful tool. So once again, the fun element, which invites voluntary participation, the rules, the challenge, and the feedback mechanisms.
No, that was very interesting. You had involved us in a game by asking the questions.
Yeah.
So
I mean, what interesting in this is more of rules, I believe, because nobody wants to play in a soccer game without a goal, right? You need a goal to put a goal, get the score. Otherwise, there is no work for the goalkeeper as well. So rules are very important, and based on the rules is when we will understand where we are, like you mentioned, where we stand, what are we doing, where is that we are going wrong, accepting the failures, work on the failure. Next time when you get into the field, what is that I need to work on? I think that's where the rule plays a predominant role. And I am anyway sold for fun. Okay, I'm sold for fun 20 years ago. But rules, maybe I'm slowly getting used.
As Divya said, rules tell you, what constitutes a win. Okay?
Right.
Rules tell you what constitutes a win, what constitutes in a game. For example, let's say which is a boundary, which is out. So the rules provide the format, the process, and also the result. So once you understand the rules create the goal and the process.
And it is very, very
for the game. When it is a rule, there's a frame for the game.
Yeah, the
Ah.
framework. It provides a framework
Yeah.
so that everybody understands and everybody can play, understand and play accordingly.
Even on a sweet game, I guess they put some 2 rocks and say this is the boundary.
Correct.
This is 4, or you throw it, it is 6 or something.
Yeah,
I think
everybody
that-
agrees. Everybody agrees. Okay, so
Yeah.
rules are everybody understands the rules, agrees, and then they can play.
It makes the game very interesting when you learn.
Yeah, rules are what makes the game exciting.
Very nice. Yeah, that's
Actually,
what I think.
I always say this. Rules are actually in a way constraints. For example, you cannot
So
play the
fair.
game as you want.
Right.
Game it tells you it has to be played in this format.
Right.
But in a game, we accept the rules because we know if the rules are not there, the game is not playable. A lot of confusion. We don't know the roles and responsibilities. So even though the rules are constrained, accept it. But in organization, when you have the policies and procedures, so sometimes we kind of blame them. So we have to accept the wholeheartedly, just like accept the rules in a game.
True. Wonderfully coordinated that. Great. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So can we gamify all aspects of our personal and professional life? Is it possible?
Yeah. So this question has been on my mind. I have been working on this for the last so many years. I've been in this field for 22 years now. So I've been predominantly using the last 20 years. I've been predominantly using games, and now with a lot of talk on gamification. So gamifying different processes. I said we are gamifying different external processes. Can we gamify the internal process, that is life itself? So all aspects of our personal life and professional life, we can gamify. So of course, yes. So that's my so if you look at one concept which I love from the game is the principle of autonomy and control. For example, let's talk about football now. Let's say there are 3 aspects here. One is the player. Let's say I'm playing the game of football, and the other players also playing football. So what is in my control and what is not in my control? So there are some aspects of the game which are under my control, and some aspects are not controlled. And this exactly symbolizes life. So in life, we have the autonomy, we have the freedom, the choice to live our life the way we want. At the same time, we don't have control over certain aspects. And this correlates beautifully with games. Yes. I'm just taking an example of football here, but for that matter, any game, this choice, freedom and control. So what are the things you can control in a game? What are the things you can't control? So, for example, in a game, let's say football, one thing under my control is my movements on the field. So I want to move left or right or front or back. So nobody controls, only I control. I have 100% control over my movements there, where I want to move in the game of football. Same thing in any game. How I play the game, is 100% reliant on me. But for example, let's say the football itself. How much control I have over the football? I have only partial control. For example, when the ball is with me, for some moments with my skills, I'm able to hold the control. But soon there are other people also trying to get the control, and soon I lose it. So I don't have 100% control. So I have a partial control of the football based on my skills. I'm able to control for some period of time, but the other people also trying to take control. But there's one thing. There's one thing which I have totally no control. Can anybody guess? My movements, I have control, full control. Control over the ball, I have partial, but one aspect I have totally no control.
How others are going to move?
Brilliant. Let's give big hand to Divya. Yeah, right. So how others are going to move? Okay, the other player who are playing, how they are going to move? I can't restrict that. I can't control that. So others' behavior in the field, I can't control. I have 100% no control over that. The same thing symbolizes life. In my life, let's say I have a family. I said, what I do, what words I speak, everything I have full control. But other family members, how they're going to react, how they're going to respond, I have no control. So in between this play of control and non-control, we have some partial control. So we try to convince people, try to persuade people. Through a lot of efforts goes to try, and sometimes we are able to get that yes, and sometimes I don't get that. It's not a full control. After some time, I lose it. So even my children, okay, when they're young, I have some control abilities. But as they grow up, then they assert their freedom. So I'm not having control on them. So this, in real life, whether in a workspace, let's say I'm a manager trying to control people through the authority of the position, I can have some partial control, but I don't have, but I can't control their mind, how they think. So it's simple as I would say, personal and professional life, they have a lot of elements which are common. So if we see in real life, that's our life and the game elements are, a lot of correlations are there. So that's what I see. For example, when I do programs, when I see my personal life itself, the growth. So I kind of relate with a lot of these games, game elements. Again, the other one is like, when we talk about fun, one important concept in a game, something called the distinction between easy fun and hard fun. So easy fun is something, for example, I say I watch a stand-up comedy. That's the easy fun. I don't have to do anything. I just have to sit and relax. But hard fun is when you have to do something. A lot of effort is required. So in real life also, I have to do something. I cannot be passively, as a spectator. So life is not a spectator sport. Actively I have to do. So whether it's in work, I have to make some, I have to initiate something. So what happens is, for example, I have, say, I do a lot of corporate programs, but when is the next program going to come? I don't know, because it all depends on assignments. So I don't have full control in that area because it depends on other parameters. So what I do a lot of public programs. So I feel I have a lot of control over it because I can decide the date. I can decide what topic I want to do. I can decide which city I want to target. So I have some control over that. Of course, there also I don't have full control because who's going to come. Okay, that I can decide the numbers, but I can, again, it depends. But at least I can decide on the dates, location, everything, which in a corporate scenario, So I love this. So I like to control certain aspects. So through the freedom I have. So I do certain things. And at the same time, I also love the mystery. I love the flow. Okay, let things come to me. So in a game also sometimes, we, till the last moment, the excitement, the suspense.
Yeah.
We love the suspense because we don't know how this is going to go. Yeah, that way. So I might win, I might lose because it's a close contest. The same thing in real life. I may get some project, I may lose, but what makes me engaged till the last moment? I keep trying. I have that belief going for it. So I can see a lot of correlations. So the ultimate thing is gamifying your life. Of course, we can gamify. We have proven that process, marketing. But if we can gamify our own life, then nothing like, because game provides a perfect analogy for life.
You've rightly mentioned when you said about, not able to control others, because I'm still processing on that matter. So recently I read in one of the books saying that we all come from different value system and belief system. And there are a lot of different ways of raising up depending on our environment. Okay. So when we all come in one place, be it work or be it family, then looking at other person from our own values and belief is not going to work out. I think in that way is when the elements are going to come in by getting feedback, making the life as a little interesting by making some rules, certain rules when it comes to work, or probably in a family saying that your responsibility, your commitment. I think all these elements come into place when you want to really co-live or correlate with everybody and make a place a very harmonious and a garden sort of an aspect. I think that way the elements work out in a lot of aspects, be it leadership or personal life. I'm able to wonderfully resonate on that matter also.
Thank you.
Yeah. And when you say rules, it actually gives a discipline to the game. When we instill rules, there is a discipline and we have to play within that.
Yeah, that discipline to follow a structure.
Yeah.
Okay, if you have time, I can
like to share, sir?
We lost you, Ms. Alagu.
No, anything else would you like to share, sir? Any examples, any interesting examples which you had during your trainings?
Okay, I'd like to take some questions if it is time is there. So for some people as well.
Please, sir. Please, sir. The forum is all yours.
Yeah.
So before we have open questions, I want to share something about Ashraf. It's been about a decade, and before I think I've taken his NLP session, and I met him as young as what he is today. And we hardly met on that day. We hardly spoke on that day because I was in full of love with my husband. So I was fully looking at my husband there. On those days, it was very interesting to see Ashraf being concentrated on NLP techniques those days itself. Okay. Now let's talk about this generation. I know one of his protege, Karunai Prakash. He has, you give him 10 minutes, he talks 7 things about Ashraf. And one thing which really affected me when I was talking to him is that he talks about self-love. No matter whether, that's what Karunai says, and I got very, very impressed in that matter. When Karunai met me, he said, Ashraf says one thing, first you, then comes everything. Then comes anything, everything at all. We may talk about it, a lot of things, but when it hits you, when you say self-love is important, first talk about yourself, think about yourself. Karune actually gave that impression to me by giving a couple of examples in the gamification and game language, which really affected me. I should thank you, Ashraf, for reaching me out in a different way so that it helped me in my real-time scenario very well. So in that context, I leave the forum to all of the members to have open questions to our author of the month today. So please have your questions lined up for him. So once you raise your hands, maybe Arul will unmute you and you can ask questions accordingly. So if you have any questions regarding gamifying the work-related activities or anything which is in your personal life, you can ask any open questions to him. He'd be able to answer you. And in the meanwhile, sir, if you could say a couple of words about your book, be really insightful.
Yeah. So now my book, I've captured the essence of my work in the last 20 years, what I've done in this book. I would say it has 3 segments. So the first segment is about the history of games, the science of games, how right from the childhood, the different games we play, how they impact us, and culturally how different societies have used games, in the development, on the human development. So that's the first part. Second part comes there as games as learning tools, how games can be used as a learning tool. And the last part, as I said, how to gamify life itself.
Nice.
The last part is how to gamify life. So the science of games, the history of games, the games as learning tools, and how to gamify life. So that's the three objectives in the book. If anybody likes to have a copy of my book, they can share. I'll send you a free copy.
Sure. Do you have a copy with you, sir, so we can have a look of the book?
Yeah. So this is the book.
Nice. Great.
So that's
Congratulations on releasing the book, first of all.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Great, lovely. So I am more interested in learning about game-oriented activities because it's very important for my day-to-day life.
Yeah.
And I am running sort of activities a lot in the classroom training. So I think it might be useful for me as well. We'll wait for a couple of minutes for all other members to ask any questions, and then we can move on to the next session of Open Network. Meanwhile, Giri sir or anybody new to the forum, Raj Sharma, Ramakrishna, if you have any questions, please do raise your hand, sir. We'd be happy to unmute you so you can ask any questions.
Saraj and Ramakrishna are all my associates, who
oh, okay. Seems like they all know about you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Giri has raised his hand. Let's see what question he's got.
Yeah. Thank you, Ashraf sir. Really awesome. Life is a journey. It's a game journey.
Yeah, welcome.
I hope every 20 years, our life expectancy is almost, as per Indians, it is 76. I hope if anybody is living above 80s, it's quite good. But only thing is, every 20 years, we are playing games. Like that, 20s, 40s, 60s. Now I am in the middle of 50 to 60. Okay. If you can help me, what game I can play after 40 and I am in the middle of 40 to 60. Can you please suggest?
Yes, sir. So there is a book called Keep Your Brain Alive. There's a free download. You can just search for Keep Your Brain Alive. There's a lot of 83 exercises are there. Beautiful exercises. Simple games. I use some of them in my workshops. It's a free document. So that those games make you alert and active. So once we cross 40 or 50, we need a lot of engagement for our brain, because our brain is not like a machine. We keep doing the same things. Okay, we become bored, become dull. So our brain needs a lot of new challenges, and this book provides, and a lot of exercises. This book is a wonderful book. Keep Your Brain Alive. Just search for it. You'll get it. So that's one thing. And Yeah, see, any kind of a sport, simple sport, need not be a physical outdoor sport. Even indoor game. I would say chess is a wonderful game, start playing chess. Some game, it involves a lot of strategy. In fact, a lot of traditional Indian games. There's something called Tiger and Goats, Adupuliyatam. Have you heard about it?
Right.
That's a brilliant game. Adupuliyatam is a brilliant game. You can Kattam Vilayat is there. That X and O, that tic-tac-toe. In fact, we know about the 3x3. There's another version called, I'll share a free, say, soft copy if you want. I'll share it to Divya and they'll share it to you. So it's 4x4. It's a, you can play as a two, you can play with your partner. It's a 16 4x4 grid. It's a wonderful game. It's much more interesting and challenging than the 3x3 grid. So we have a lot of simple games, strategy games, which will make your brain active. Of course, we also need some physical exercise. So some kind of a physical game we can do. But to start with, you can start with the indoor strategy game.
Thank you, Ashraf sir. But as per I have 2 games.
Yeah.
Regularly following. One is DOS game.
Which game?
DOS.
Doors.
Acha. Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Want to know?
Yes, sir.
It's related to dopamine, oxytocin.
Oh, okay. Good.
Serotonin, endorphins.
Good.
Oh, you mean doors? Okay, doors.
Oh, acha. Okay. You're using a acronym. I thought it's
and another one is ACD game.
Okay. So it's again an acronym. Yeah.
ACD is anybody can dance.
Oh, beautiful.
Whatever the single movement, whatever the steps you can dance.
Okay.
Thank you, Ashraf. Thank you.
Welcome, Giri.
Thank you very much, Giri sir. Appreciate your sharing of the dance technologies and other acronyms for. Suddenly, this episode is converted into a science session. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Sorry, Diva. Really, when I go to any function, without dance, I will not move that place.
Wonderful.
The people also call me as water doctor like that. This is also one of the skill I got from my early ages, but I have only 4 steps, but even people are enjoying that.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
As Prabhu Devana, you can imagine. Thank you.
Oh, okay. That's a compliment. Let me see once how you're dancing, sir, so that we'll all compliment together.
Sure.
Thank you very much for joining us. I think we have to move on to the next session of the episode. Thank you very much, Ashraf Ali sir, today, and Alagu ma'am for joining us for the panel discussion. It was a wonderful talk between both of you to know a lot about gamifications. Especially, I understood a lot about how games really associate with our personal life and make our life a little better when it comes to, keeping the small child in you awake and alive by doing small games and keeping it going is something what we learned today, I believe. So in the same context, I wanted to introduce you to the rocket goals of this month, probably next month. March 9th is what we are doing rocket goals. Please do join us for our offline networking program. We have wonderful panel discussion being a Women's Month of the year. We are inviting all the women entrepreneurs and the leaders to join us for a panel discussion. I'm happy to see all of you and every one of you in the session. We'll have a wonderful, insightful, and a meaningful networking session in offline. Wish to see you all there. Please keep in touch with Arul to get to know a lot about this rocket goals, which is happening on March 9th next month. All right. So you can see me. We are all going to be here. It'll be fun. Let's Ashraf also come and do some fun activities for all of us. It'll be fun as well. Lovely. So now we're going to do a next part of the episode, which is open network. So you can introduce yourself if you're being first for the episode, and we can talk about what you're doing and how have you enjoyed the episode today and what did you learn. Probably you can share that. It'll be really nice if we have every member talking about our episode today. So like Ashraf was talking, I think they are Ramakrishna and Raj Sharma are part of Ashraf's team. So I'd like to welcome Ramakrishna now to talk about a network today. So, sir, why don't you introduce about yourself and few things what we learned today? Okay, he is in mute. Sir, can you unmute yourself? Oh, yeah.
Yes, I have unmuted myself. Hello,
Alright.
everyone. Thanks, first of all, for organizing this. It's been a very beautiful session so far. And like always, Ashraf rocks.
Yeah.
So everything that he says, valuable insights always, makes you really reflect. It was also a revision of the gaming thing for us, actually, a very quick thing. So what I do, I'm into training like most of other folks here. Um, I haven't conducted too many corporate trainings, but for organizations and for officers in government sectors, I have conducted leadership and management programs. Recently, I've done on change management. And the good thing about the networking part, I've not networked a lot, but in the sessions that Ashraf has conducted, so I've got a good connect there. And I recently, for example, I took the help of Raj, who is in this call as well. He had an emergency that day, but to see so many games we have actually played there in Ashraf's sessions and linking it back to the learning outcomes or the objectives. So which particular game could I use? I didn't want to pick Ashraf's brain on this. So I thought, let me use, the network that was there. And we exchanged some ideas. On change management, there wasn't directly anything that I could say, but there will be elements of it which you can definitely do. And though I did a different one, which Ashraf, one of the Ashraf's things only, it went very well actually. So I don't know if from a networking perspective, I think I need to really broaden. This is an opportunity, a platform, and I come from a leadership and management background myself. Prior to the training industry, I worked in organizations like Wipro, HCL, as a GM, and I've done multiple roles actually, both international, outside abroad as well as in India. And the last engagement was as a VP, engineering and MD. So training industry, how I could relate is that my job later on became one of the key things is to develop people, to
Hmm.
mentor people, to groom people, to attract talent, to get the right guys into the organization as well. Because one wrong hire and you're gone. So at least one level of, for some level, managers and above directors and all, I would ensure that I meet up with them over a coffee or whatever it is. And so, and the mentoring aspect and the coaching aspect was one of the key things that I felt was, worked a lot in my own experience and in organizations to help them grow because the culture is very important and it's the leader's job to create that culture. And the culture, by engaging with people, keeping them occupied, and sharing them the objectives and giving them feedback, all that. So a lot of things come with it. It was very nice experience. And then I brought it on to the training industry while you become a facilitator, eliciting the feedback from the participants and make them reflect on their journey, it's also important if you have some relevant examples that you can give. It becomes really enriching as well for them, and that's where I have a little bit of an edge because of the corporate experience that I've had in the past as well. So I look forward to meeting all of you, and really a pleasure to be here. And maybe you'll get more opportunities to sync up certain programs that I would like someone else to conduct, or maybe you can provide an opportunity as well and learn and get more insights from top leaders in the organization, in this particular forum. Thanks a lot once again to everyone.
Thank you very
Any
much,
questions you
Ramakrishna.
have? Yeah.
It's great meeting you today. First of all, it's great knowing you that what Ramakrishna does and everything. Please leave your contact details in the chat box for all of us to the network with you. Try to join us in the March 9th networking program. It'd be really nice to meet and have a lot of collaborative sessions with you in future as well, sir. Be really nice. Thank you very much for being with us today. We are grateful. And a small note to Ashraf, I understand if you're running short of time, sir. So if you are having time, you can continue staying with us, or else if you want to leave, we understand, sir. So I'm just keeping you informed on that matter.
No, I have time. I can stay.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So let's have another person who's new to our networking. I think Mahesh M is new, as far as I know. So if you're here, sir, please introduce yourself to the team and talk about the learning and everything what we had discussed today. If you are here, sir.
Hello.
Yes, Mahesh.
Hi, my name is Mahesh. I'm from Hosur. I'm working in an automotive industry as an HR. So
Okay.
I am a product of Life Academy.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I was trained by Mr. Ashraf. So I'm into freelancing of training now.
Great knowing you, sir. What do you feel about our episode? What is the key
Yeah,
learnings?
yeah, it was too good. Already Ashraf Mr. Ashraf had taught us regarding this. But still, I would like to tell that the Mr. Ashraf's program had made an career changing in my life, or a tremendous change in my career after getting into this training. So it had people, the way how they look at in the organization about me is entirely different after when I got into this training. So I would like to thank Mr. Ashraf, and moreover, I'm happy that even though he's at Chennai, so once in a while when he conducts training, we used to attend. But it's happy that we can get connected with him again through online. So very much thankful to you.
Welcome, Mahesh. Welcome. Great.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a pleasure that you could join us today. So please leave your contact details for networking.
Sure, sure.
It'd be nice to keep in touch with you in future as well.
Sure, sure. Thank you.
Thank you. So next I see Soumya Subanna, if she is here for open network, be nice. Yes, Soumya.
Yes, Divya, thank you so much. Sorry for not switching on my camera because my network is too bad. If I switch on my video, then you maybe probably not able to hear what I say. So that's the
Totally
reason.
understand. Totally understand.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Ashraf Ali, because it was wonderful session. Okay, let me introduce myself. I'm not someone new to this forum because I was inconsistent. Because offline I have met. I am from Bangalore, and I'm a mindset coach and personal branding strategist for coaches. And prior to this, I was working as an HR, mainly into compensation and benefits. I worked as an HR for 12 years. Then I moved to mindset coach, coaching business. But now I am aspiring to become a trainer. So the topic was really helpful for me because this is what something I was looking for. And Ashraf made us very much easy to understand the concept, why it is being conducted. Awakening the child within us is something I just act like a child. People who know me already have seen me, they know already. Learning through fun activity is really enjoying, and the way he explained connecting to the life scenarios was really awesome. So I will leave my LinkedIn and also my contact details. So anyone of you would like to connect. Actually, personally, I want to connect with all of you, everyone here, because I know everyone are master brainers, I can say. I don't know is it a right word, but definitely there are a lot of things to learn from from each one of you. Thank you so much about the learning part. Yeah, the 4 elements which Ashraf covered was really wonderful about understanding the rules and challenging and feedback. These are the takeaways I took. I can summarize it later for myself. So thank you so much. And I had one question, Ashraf, because throughout the session, you mentioned about the gamification when it comes to offline. But I wanted to know some of the games where you can suggest where we can include in online training sessions.
Okay, got it.
Because now after this COVID, very difficult to handle it.
Sure. So we have some few games which are suitable for online, but predominantly I use games in a offline scenario. So I can share a few games for which can be used for online as well. So and also if you can share your details, I can also courier you a copy of my book as well to you.
Okay. Should I share my email ID, LinkedIn, or mobile number? How should I?
Yeah. So mobile number and yeah.
You can possibly share the contact details in the chat box or on a personal window with Mr. Ashraf. So he can possibly capture the details and call you at least to get more details on that matter.
Yeah.
Be nice. Yeah. So I think she shared the number. In that way, we are connected. And if possible, please do share your LinkedIn links as well. That way, we all can get connected with each other. Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you, Divya. I had one more question.
Yes.
Like you mentioned, in the offline gamification, the game element what you include is voluntary participation. You encourage other people to voluntarily participate. How can we make sure that everyone are included and participating in the game? Because there are some people who will not join, though it gives a dopamine and ACDK, whatever mentioned, no? But still, but still, how can we make sure that everyone are included and also it is fair to everyone?
Correct. So now what happens is getting 100% participation is ideal, but sometimes we don't get the 100% participation. Somebody like to observe, I give them the space to observe, and but I would say the context setting is very important. Before you start the game, you need to set the context. Why you play the game? What is the benefit? You need to sell the game before, even play the game. So you tell them it's going to be very exciting. It's going to be a wonderful experience. You're going to understand more about yourself through this game. So when you participate, you sell them. When you observe something, you observe a game, you may only learn a little bit superficially. But when you participate in the game, you can learn in depth. So you need to create the context, invite them to participate. So then I would say more people would like to participate. So that's very important.
Okay.
Setting the context.
So is it like a department-wise? Okay, department-wise, do you conduct games, or like how do you bifurcate when it comes to the game?
See, basically, there are two aspects. One is this functional aspect, one is this psychological aspect. So functionally, they could be doing different things, different department, but psychologically, they're the same person. So the games are basically addressing the psychological aspects, behavior. So we're not addressing anything functionally. So it doesn't depend on the department. So cross-functionally, cross departments, everybody, we may have them in the same team. So the game is the same. It appeals to everybody.
Soumya is my friend, and thanks Soumya for joining. I had requested her to join today.
Thank you so much, Alagu. Thanks, Alagu. How can I forget her? I don't know. Actually, I should have started by showing gratitude to Alagu.
Thanks to you for joining.
Thank you.
Please
Prakash is missing.
connect with us, Soumya. You can take it up all your questions separately with Ashraf as well. I'm sure he can connect with you to talk more about game-related questions as well. So thanks joining. Thank you for joining us today. Be nice. Thank you. And I think we are almost at the end of the session now. So we need to close it. And I think we have one person, Stella Mary. If you want to introduce yourself quickly and tell us what you do, and then we can close the session, ma'am. Okay, I think Stella is connected, but not connected. So
before that, I wanted to mention Mahesh had given a title to Ashraf sir as James Bond.
James, oh, okay.
He's done it in the chat box, so I wanted to voice it out also.
Thank you.
Okay, I think I missed it. Oh, okay. Ashraf sir, you got a new name of James Bond.
No, actually, my
sorry to interrupt. He is known as Mr. James Bond.
Oh, okay.
James Bond, okay.
Yeah, my objective is to create many James Bonds. So.
Oh, very nice, very nice. It's very creative.
Nice, yeah.
In fact, if you look at the book, it says, be a James Bond. Once you learn this, you become a James Bond. So when you learn
very
this,
strategic, very strategically done.
James Bond is part of our thing. So be a James Bond, learn game-oriented active learning.
Yeah, with that creative idea, sir, was it yourself or anybody gave you that title?
No. The idea was there. I've been doing this for the last 8-9 years now. So initially the goal came a game-oriented active learning. So I thought, okay, what would be a selling point, So then I realized, you can, if you want to be a James Bond, come and join our program, Goal, game-oriented active.
Very nicely coined name.
Yeah, that's a very catchy name. Especially for women, maybe. Okay, great. So I think Giri wants to say something.
Yes, Divya, it should not take much time, only 2 minutes. Who are attending coming 9th our physical meeting, you can get this book, Knowledge Factory. You can write down your task. By night, you can write down your task completed, and then prioritization matrix, and then which can be every day you have to focus, and then habit tracker. So like that, this 30 sheet you can have one book. So every month I can able to supply this book because it's as of now, you are following so many apps for follow-up. I am not against that. Only thing is we have to create our neuro path and neuroplasticity we have to increase, because so many times we are not writing regularly. So it's my thing is to write regularly. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Giri sir. Appreciate it. Love to see that in life when we meet on March 9th. So waiting for that matter now. By this, I think we are closing. We've come to the close. Thank you very much for all of us for joining us today. Wait to see you all on March 9th. Please visit us. Be fun, be nice. And we're going to have a lot of learnings as well in the panel discussion. I invite especially all the women. Be nice to meet you all. Men, of course, you're all guests. You can come and join us. So it was wonderful meeting you all. Great episode, fun related. It was all very interactive. Thanks to Ashraf to make this very interactive, and Alagu ma'am for being very, very participative. Appreciate all your effort. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend ahead. By this, we are closing today's episode. Thank you, Arul, for all the back end work. Without you, there is no Leaders Connect, I believe. So have fun. Keep smiling.
Thank you, Ashraf sir. Thank you, Divya. Thank you, Arul. Thank you, Ramakrishna sir, Mahesh, Giri sir. Thank you, all the participants, Soumya.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you all joining today. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.